first statement that I want to make is that change is the only constant in today's world. And unfortunately, change is changing so fast that the pace is very hectic. And today there is a new buzzword which is there. The change is disruptive change. And disruptive change means that the entire game has changed and the rules of the game have changed. And the hot buzzwords that you hear about when you talk about disruptors are artificial intelligence, Internet of Things. We have a whole lot of other markers which are there. Machine learning is there, robotics is there, and now they have a new partner. And the new partner is COVID-19. It's the latest disruptor which is there in the not Indian market but in the global market. And another buzzword which is doing the rounds today is there's going to be a new normal. And the new normal is significantly different from what it was in the past. And this new normal is going to change that we are going to live our lives and the way we are going to run our businesses. In case you can't see me properly, it's because there is a disruption in Calcutta where I'm sitting. You had a super cyclone which had come in, which has disrupted the entire network here. I stay on the 30th floor of a building and I'm out in my lobby on makeshift arrangement because the signal is only there here. It's not there in my flat. So excuse me for this darkness there. Okay, coming back to the disruptor. So we have COVID-19, which is the new disruptor. Mr. Satya, if you could help me with the presentation, please. Yep. So you have a new disruptor in the global horizon, which is COVID-19. But there is an opportunity in this mayhem that COVID-19 has created. Because what COVID-19 has very, very significantly established is the commonness of the richest and the poorest. We all have been brought to the same platform. The virus does not discriminate between country boundaries, between economic classes, between religions, between castes, or any gender. Okay, so this is one great strike that the virus has done. The second great change that COVID-19 is bringing about is the change in mindset. A mindset, and there's a slogan which we have been hearing for ages, in fact centuries, saying that health is wealth. And Dr. Anil also spoke about a corollary to that, which said prevention is better than cure. It's better to prevent a fire than call a fire engine. And if you bring that analogy into health, why get into a disease state when you can avoid that state? And that's exactly what I think Dr. Anil was trying to tell for so long. This has started gaining prominence even in allopathic practice. So one clarification I want to make, Dr. Anil and Mr. Satya and all our seniors and all interns, is there is no current mindset or commercial conflict between naturopathy and allopathy or other alternate medicines. This is the way I see it, because there is enough of, even if you want to look at it commercially, and all of you are going to get into business, there is enough of opportunity for each vertical to thrive and grow in this market. Even if you look at allopathy, for example, in India, the penetration of allopathic medicines into the Indian population is disputed. It is between 30 and 40%. So there's a lot of market which is still available besides the growth that will happen in the market. So there's no conflict. There actually should be a development of synergy and a partnership in the overall interest of the well-being of humanity and the Indian population and the global population. Even if you look at it, I was in Boots long ago, which is now known as Abbott, and we were the pioneers of diabetic care, both at patient awareness and care, as well as the medication, especially to do with insulins. And Novo Nordisk insulins were marketed by Abbott, and I was also in Hext where we sold Downhill. And I remember the logarithm of treatment of the cascade, which was advised, was very, very clear. And the doctors, even today, stick to it. The first advice, unless the person is a confirmed diabetic, if it's a pre-diabetic or a early diabetic, they first say, before we go on to medication, diet and exercise will be my first option. Only after that he goes into a single drug, then multiple drug, and then on to probably insulins. Even in diabetes, hypertension, neuro, nephro, asthma, GI problems, today every allopathic company has one nutraceutical or biological product. So there's a cardiac specific nutraceutical, diabetic specific nutraceutical, neuro specific, and some of the names I can give. And I'm not coming only to nutraceuticals, even biologicals are added. We had ginseng long back, ginkgo biloba, that is, okay. And then we have aloe vera, which is there. We have magnesium products, zinc products, and you have vitamin D now. You have B complexes. My own company, the current company which I've joined to basically help them turn around, has a couple of products which we are pioneers in. We make amino acid infusions. So Dr. Anil maybe at the end of the talk can highlight about the importance of amino acids to overall health of an individual. We also have a product where we are global pioneers and the only guys who are there, and that is into an infusion of, in fact there are multiple formulations. We have a cream, we have a gel, we have an injection of placenta, human placenta. It's a wonderful product. And what are you talking about? And the challenge was the same. Dr. Anil spoke about that challenge. The challenge was about standardizing the product and convincing the medical fraternity about the utility of the product. And very recently, in fact, after I've joined, we have changed the label claim, Dr. Anil, of the product. Instead of calling it a placental extract, we have actually identified the biomolecules in this product and have standardized both the testing methodology and the manufacturing. Fantastic. And the biomolecules we have is PDRN and a whole lot of things. I don't want to get into the technicality. Okay. Mm-hmm. And because we were able to identify the biomolecules, these biomolecules are very well documented in the medical textbooks. Ubiquitin, PDRN, XYZ, and these are wonder molecules. And you have also heard about the stem cells. Yeah. Okay. Now the stem cell was promoted highly, so it picked up. Placenta is a magical product, and if we can identify it, it tends to do better. So that is what Dr. Anil was saying. If you can standardize your product, if you can identify the components, in India, the benefit of we heard the English word, it. Haldi is well documented, aloe vera is well documented, ginger is well documented, lasan is well documented, and blah blah. We can go to that neem and XYZ. That is what we need to encash on. And you have these new emerging companies and the gurus, Patanjali, Sri, Sadhguru, all of them are promoting health by natural means, whether it is yoga, whether it's meditation, whether it is pranayam, or it is one of these herbal and Ayurvedic preparations. Even allopathic companies are going into biosimilars. I know biosimilars are different from naturopathy or nutraceuticals, but we are talking of going back to nature, going back to the origins, moving away from synthetic products, at least initially. And only when things get complicated, probably go on to the alternate options of synthetic medicines. Mr. Satya, could you help me on the next slide, please? So basically what I'm trying to highlight here is health is wealth, prevention is better than cure. Whenever you construct a high-rise building, like I'm sitting on the 30th floor of a 35-floor building, you cannot raise the floors unless your foundation is strong. And therefore, strength of the foundation defines the quality and longevity of a building. And that is where the de-risking strategy, both in life and business, comes in. And de-risking starts with prevention. Make sure your fuses are there in the building. Make sure that your fire, protection is there. Similarly, for health, make sure that your body is immune and fully nourished, fully rested. Okay, and you exercise well. Now, this is what everyone talks about. You breathe well, and you eat the right kind of food, and that is what the Japanese were promoting in the Fosho system, which you see on the slide there. And therefore, from just being, escaping the disease or the absence of disease is what we considered health earlier. Today, health is considered as wellness and fitness. If you see abroad, all the movies, and many of us have gone abroad, they are fitness fanatics. Before going to office, during office, after office, they go for a jog. They go into the gym. And that culture is catching on in India also. Even successful people, rich people, affluent people like most of you, okay, were earlier only successful people or rich people from rich families. Today, success is also defined as success in health, successfully fit people, which is the first bullet that you see there. And this is a concept which needs to now accept it. Earlier, because of the agricultural environment that was in India, fitness and exercise was natural. Today, we need to actually artificially go into the gyms or going for a walk. And that is something which is catching on. Also catching on thanks to also COVID is we heard here, and this, see, I am not in agreement with the fear psychosis that has been created by the various media agencies on COVID-19. It's not a killer. It is just another highly contagious viral pandemic. That 5 to 10% vulnerable population needs to be very careful. The seniors, the youngsters, and the immunocompromised. Otherwise, 81% will not even know that they have the symptoms and the infection is over. And around 14% will get mild symptoms. So you're talking about 95% of the infected people who will not get serious. But even to these people, the advice that everyone is giving, and I would like to reiterate, is sleep well, eat well. And Dr. Anil also spoke about no McD's, no Subways, and no XYZs, no fast food. Okay, go down to Indian home food, quick home cooked Indian food, especially the salads and the healthy nutrients. If you can't get it naturally, supplement it from the external sources. I'll come to that. And that is exactly where this nutrient-based approach, prevention, and multi-ingredient nutraceutical and functional food approach as a concept has caught on. It was there, but now it has got catalyzed with COVID-19 coming in. Unfortunately, we are not able to do it naturally, so we need to do it as a supplementation. And that is where I would like to go to my next slide, which talks about eat well at home, but also supplement what you cannot get through your normal routine of food. And some of the components that we are talking about, and which are very well established components, even let's stick to COVID-19. What are the components they are talking about? Have a lot of vitamin C, have vitamin D, magnesium, okay, lemon, nimbu pani pijiye भर के, gargle करिए अच्छी से, okay, and we are also talking about all vitamins and B complexes, because end of the day we want to improve the immunity. Now let's touch upon one component, vitamin D. Now vitamin D is a very misunderstood product. We have an expert, Dr. Anil, there, but I'll still take the opportunity of highlighting why it is. See, we were told if you're living in a tropical country, you will not have vitamin D deficiency because there's enough of sunlight. What use is that sunlight if we protect ourselves from head to toe? What use is the sunlight if I'm sitting in schools and colleges from morning to night and not working in the fields and not playing in the playgrounds but playing with PUBGs and video games. What use is the sunlight if I'm going to be studying these days in hi-fi AC environment and working in offices with no exposure to the sunlight? And even that sunlight exposure that I get, UVB light that I get, is minimal. And especially the ladies, and now also the guys, cover themselves with sunscreen lotions. Okay, and very few sunscreen lotions allow for vitamin D penetration, and that is where we can debate on the numbers, but an average of 50% upwards to 80 to 90% of Indian population in a highly tropical, generously sunlit country are vitamin D deficient. And with vitamin D deficiency comes a host of other complications, from bone to immunity to your calcium absorption in particular. And that is exactly where vitamin D and B12 are the two ingredients which have huge potential in India. And I think World Santa is doing a wonderful job, and we'll hear about that. Yeah.